Democrats are the party of they, the people. There's no such thing as a moderate Democrat. They all vote like AOC. Some just pretend better than others. They're the party of they, the people. They pass out talking points. They pass out talking points to the media and the press. And if you don't believe me, that literally just happened today about Kamala Harris and this whole border czar thing. I mean, seriously, a Democrat lawmaker, this is from Bobby Burak, he's an Outkick reporter on X, but a Democrat lawmaker confirmed to Fox that Dems have received a piece of paper with talking points / lies about how to discuss Kamala Harris's role at the southern border. So listen to this. Let me just read to you directly from this piece of paper that's being passed around to Democrats and passed around to their allies in the media about Kamala being a border czar. It's literally a printed piece of paper. In fact, I don't want you to have to take my word for it. I want to see if I can show you this for yourself, and you can just read along with me. When I say that the Democrats, that four people in Washington set the talking points for everybody else, I mean it. That's what it looks like. I don't know if you all can see it, but it says Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. Talking point 1. There has never been a position. There has never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Border czar title is invented by Republican, and the press repeats. You see how the press repeats? Was not asked to lead on the administration's immigration or border enforcement policies. So, folks, you're seeing it right there for yourself. You're seeing how this stuff works. This is what the Democrats do to control the narrative. I mean, listen to Hakeem Jeffries parroting those talking points almost verbatim today. Listen.
She was never assigned the position of border czar. They're making that up.
She was never assigned the position of border czar. They're making that up. Or how about KJP today?
So yes, we are going to debunk the false characterization of the vice president. She was not a border czar. And it's not just us. Independent fact checkers have said the same thing, that did not exist, and that is not true.
And a different.
So, you see, I've said before on the show that I almost respect how the Democrats can get their people to toe the line. But very rarely does something like this happen where their talking points leak out, and you can see how KJP and Hakeem Jeffries, it's like they're reading directly from the sheet that I just read to you. This is how they operate. They don't think for themselves. It's how they're able to foist narratives so effectively on the American people. Now, Peter Doocy from Fox News asked KJP about these talking points that were passed out to the press. Listen to this exchange.
Democrats on Capitol Hill are being handed this card with talking points about the vice president and the border. Do you know who's handing this out?
I have no idea. You probably should ask her campaign.
So the first one says Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. There's never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Why are Democrats so sensitive about the vice president and the border?
Why are Republicans so sensitive about actually not owning up to them getting in the way of a border deal? Why? Why won't they own up to that? Why won't they own up to the last president told them not to move forward? It was a bipartisan deal on just right there, available to them, and they voted twice against it. Twice against it. Why are they so sensitive to moving forward?
So you see how this works. Peter Doocy was asking a question about the border czar talking points that were disseminated to the media and Democrats on Capitol Hill. And the media just regurgitates those talking points. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. But she just pivoted right to Republicans. Remember when I told you months ago that the Democrats would campaign on border security? Well, Joe Biden said it last night during his national address. He had the gall to say that the border was secure. And KJP turning around. Oh, well, what about those stingy Republicans and the bipartisan border deal because of useful idiot Republicans in the Senate? Passing a border bill that was not a border bill. It was an amnesty bill. It was an invasion bill. But I found this soundbite that I just think is just critically important about this border czar stuff. Because these Democrats are furiously trying to rewrite history. I mean, honestly, they're so brazen about it that they would make George Orwell in his book 1984 blush. They're just shameless hacks and liars. And they think that the American people won't realize it. So I'm gonna let you listen to this sound mashup of the media talking about Kamala Harris as a border czar and then acting like she was never a border czar today. Listen to the truth. This is the truth. This is media hypocrisy in action. Go.
Quote unquote border czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People gonna have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
I mean, like, it's pretty damn clear what's happening here, is it not?
Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest.
To get your free definitive gold guide and get started learning more about investing in gold and protecting your retirement from uncertain times, visit treasureandtrust.com now. Fill out the basic contact form and a member of the team will be in touch. Again, that's treasureandtrust.com or call 855-625-7760.